Well, guys, we are about a month into this new administration, and the circus is really starting to come together. Let me tell you, Donald Trump has hand-selected his posse of clowns, and they are getting to work for the American people. And today was the day that they all gathered together and participated in the very first cabinet meeting of this administration. And as most of you probably guessed, this was not a room full of intellectuals that were trying to solve hard problems. They were not trying to make the world a better place. No, this was a group full of people who were loyal to Donald Trump, and the guy who was really in charge, Elon Musk, just kind of watched over everybody as everybody sucked up to dear leader. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these clips. We'll go ahead and start with Donald Trump just being absolutely stunned by the price of eggs. And if you do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
Eggs are a disaster. The Secretary of Agriculture is going to be showing you a chart that's actually mind-boggling what's happened, how low they were with us and how high they are now. But I think we can do something about it, Madam Secretary. I think you're going to do a fantastic job in that position.
Absolutely mind-boggling, he says. The price of eggs are up like 55% over the past year. I wonder why that might be. Egg prices are up more than 20% since Donald Trump came into office. And Elon Musk has just been going around firing federal employees, even those that might combat something like, say, the bird flu. Donald Trump isn't really addressing the price of eggs like he promised to do on the campaign trail. Elon Musk is in charge, and he's going around like a reckless idiot and just tearing down the government from the inside out. And now Trump is out there saying that, oh my goodness, did you see the price of eggs? Yeah, Donnie, that's what we've been trying to tell you. These people are just incompetent. Incompetent. Let's look at this next clip, and it kind of gives you some insight into how Elon Musk is approaching this problem. Listen to what he says here.
And I should say, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect, but when we make a mistake, we'll fix it very quickly. So, for example, with USAID, one of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola, Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention. So we restored the Ebola prevention immediately, and there was no interruption. But we do need to move quickly if we're to achieve a $1 trillion deficit reduction in financial year 2026. It requires saving $4 billion per day, every day, from now through the end of September. But we can do it, and we will do it.
So can we all just take a moment to realize just how strange this actually is? We have Donald Trump's largest donor, the wealthiest man in the world, the guy who is cutting down federal agencies left and right, and he is sitting in on a cabinet meeting. Elon Musk wasn't elected. He wasn't appointed to a cabinet position. He is a grifter. He is a robber baron who has taken over the government to line his own pockets. And just about what he said there. We want to cut $1 trillion from the deficit by 2026. Where did this arbitrary number come from? And it kind of gives you some insight into how he's thinking about this, because as he said there, well, if you want to reach $1 trillion, then you have to do $4 billion a day until 2026. Is that why everything is just so scattershot? Is that why everything is so chaotic and reckless? Because Elon Musk has this arbitrary number of $4 billion a day that he is trying to meet? All while the House Republicans just passed a budget proposal that would add $2.5 trillion to the debt over 1 year? $20 trillion over 10 years? These people are not serious people. So do not let them lie to you. Do not buy their bullshit, because that is what it is. These people are not telling the truth. Elon Musk is ransacking the government. He is taking vital programs away and vital jobs away from people who desperately rely on them. He is taking away people's livelihoods to make himself more wealthy. That is what is going on here. Here's another clip of Elon Musk. I mean, he's basically running this cabinet meeting. Again, this is just so strange.
And what is your target number for how many workers, employees you're looking to cut total?
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well. But if the job is not essential or they're not doing the job well, they obviously should not be on the public payroll.
So who is making these decisions? Is it Elon that is reviewing each and every federal employee to determine whether or not they are an essential worker that deserves to get paid? I mean, what is this nonsense? Elon Musk has no idea how our government works. He has no idea how these agencies are supposed to function. He has no idea what these federal workers actually do. But he is the one who is running around and he is gutting our civil workforce from the federal government. Also, he can make himself a little bit more wealthy so he can take control of the United States of America and its government. That is what he is on a mission to do. Here's Donald Trump talking about the best numbers ever after he was confronted with some bad polling.
We've seen consumer confidence this week have a sharp drop from last month, the biggest dip in, I believe, 3 years. Why is that, your assessment? Why is that the case? And is there anything
I
you
think
can
that
do?
consumer confidence, if you look at confidence in the nation, it had the biggest increase in the history of the chart. It went up 42 points in a period of like days after the election, since the election. So since the election, the confidence in our nation, including right track, wrong track, the first time it's ever happened where we were on the right track, because this country has been on the wrong track for a long time. So the confidence in business, confidence in the country has reached an all-time high. We have never reached levels like we are right now. Okay.
Don't you just love it? How these people just like to make up numbers on the spot? Donald Trump's polling is falling off of a cliff right now. Donald Trump's own pollster is telling him that he is in trouble with the American public because people are just not happy with what they are seeing. They are not happy with this fake agency called DOGE going around and just firing federal workers, shutting off federal spending, all at their own discretion. The American people just aren't into that. And we have seen town halls all over the country where even in deep red districts, constituents are showing up and they are chewing their congresspeople out because they are not happy with what is going on here. But instead of confronting the real numbers at play here, Donald Trump just starts to talk about something that wasn't even remotely relevant to the question that was asked. He's not willing to address his actual plummeting poll numbers. So instead, he just makes up more numbers on the spot. Oh, well, wrong track, right track. You know, we've never seen anything like this. This dude lives in a conspiracy bubble that consists of probably about 98% lies that have been straight out of Donald Trump's mouth. He does not live in the real world, and he is governing the United States of America. This is just absolutely insane for a president of the United States that is just so untruthful, who is a pathological liar, to continue to just make numbers up on the spot when he's confronted with polling data that just goes against him. Oh, man. You gotta laugh so you don't cry, right? Here's Donald Trump talking about how his cabinet members will obey him.
Part of your mission has been to restore executive control over the executive branch. Is it your view of your authority that you have the power to call up any one of or all of the people seated at this table and issue orders that they're bound to follow?
Oh, yeah, they'll follow the orders. Yes, they will.
No exceptions.
No exception. Well, let's see. Let me think. Oh, yeah. She'll have an exception. Of course, no exceptions. You know that.
Of course there will be no exceptions, guys. I am a freaking king. I am the end-all, be-all. So of course my cabinet members will obey my every demand. Donald Trump is just giving the game away. You know, he was promising before the election that he was going to be a dictator on day one. He has been signaling for years that that's exactly what he wants to be. And now he's just giving that game away. He's not even hiding it anymore. Of course my cabinet members will obey me. I am who says what the law is. He issued an executive order to that effect. He's ignoring court orders. This dude wants to be a king, and he is doing everything in his power to make himself such. Something we should definitely keep an eye on, because last time I checked, we lived in a democracy, and the American people weren't down with an authoritarian takeover or a fascist government, you know, just rolling over everybody. You know, people kind of like their rights here in America. But Donald Trump just wants to trample all over those because he wants to run this country like he does his shitty businesses. That's what he wants. He then goes on to say that, of course, we can't. NATO? Ukraine is not coming into NATO. Again, just giving away the bargaining chips before they've even had a time to negotiate with Russia.
Our equipment, that would have been over very quickly.
What concessions would you like to see? What concessions would you like to see?
Oh, I don't want to tell right now, but I can tell you that NATO you can forget about. I think that's probably the reason the whole thing started. And I think, JD, we can say that. Do you have a statement on that? You've been very much involved. I gave him the beauty.
Great. Maybe the hardest question, sir. I mean, look, as the president said, we're not going to do the negotiation in public with the American media. He's going to do it in private with the president of Russia, with the president of Ukraine, and with other leaders. And I think that's how this has to go. I think.
Again, they're just giving away all the bargaining chips. Donald Trump is now aligning the United States with Vladimir Putin and Russia and North Korea. He is joining the axis of evil. The axis of evil that the United States has fought against since World War II. Donald Trump is completely reshaping our foreign policy, our place in the world. He is withdrawing us from our number one spot in the world so he can align himself with Vladimir Putin. That is why we are hearing this type of rhetoric out of this administration. We are abandoning our allies. Also, Donald Trump can cozy up to Putin just a little bit harder. We are the bad guys in Trump's America. If World War III came around today, we would be the villains. I'll show you this one last clip because it's just quite ironic what Donald Trump has to say here.
I have a question back on these cuts to the federal workforce. You mentioned you're interested in doing another round of this email. When would you like to see that? What would be the deadline? And this time, would it be mandatory?
I think Elon wants to, and I think it's a good idea because, you know, those people, as I said before, they're on the bubble. You got a lot of people that have not responded, so we're trying to figure out, do they exist? Who are they? And it's possible that a lot of those people will be actually fired. And if that happened, that's okay, because that's what we're trying to do. This country has gotten bloated and fat and disgusting and incompetently run.
So Donald Trump is trying to make the claim that this country was incompetently run during the Biden administration. It's become fat and disgusting and yeah. But I think it's quite ironic because this is the most incompetent administration that this country has probably ever seen. And what they are referring to here is that email that Elon sent out saying, if you do not respond to this email, then consider yourself fired. Sounds like a really efficient way to go about laying off a whole bunch of federal employees. These people are the incompetent ones. They are looking out for them and their billionaire buddies. They are not looking out for the American people. And it was just on full display at this very first cabinet meeting that this administration is incompetent. They are reckless and they have no idea what they are doing. And instead of working for the American people and trying to make lives better, try to bring down egg prices, housing prices, and things like that, they are more concerned with aligning themselves with Russia, joining the axis of evil, because Donald Trump wants to be a king. And that bled through over and over and over again in this meeting. You can tell. Donald Trump just wants to be a king. That's it. He doesn't care about the American people. He doesn't care about me, you, your grandma, your dad. Donald Trump cares about Donald Trump and whoever can help him garner more power in our federal government. That is what Donald Trump is after. That and more wealth. So, like I said, time and time again, it's going to be a long 4 years. We've got to buckle up. We've got to stand strong, not back down, because they are trying an authoritarian takeover of our country, and it is underway right now. So we must stand up and fight before our democratic values are washed away. So I will leave it there for now. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We've got to build something here on the left that can adequately push back against this authoritarian takeover that is pushed relentlessly by that right-wing media ecosystem. So if you do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe. If you want to see another steady march into fascism by MAGA freaks in Idaho, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. It is terrifying. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.